This is a special report from About Space Today.
Starliner delayed again. I'm David Denault. It was another disappointing day for the astronauts of Starliner, Butch, Wilmore, and Suni Williams. A scrub within 4 minutes of launch. NASA, Boeing, and ULA will try again on Sunday for the 5th launch attempt within a month for NASA's Boeing crew flight test. Tony Bruno, President and CEO of ULA, discussed today's scrub.
The vehicle performed beautifully, and we really had nothing to talk about on the vehicle itself. I also felt that the NASA, ULA, Boeing teams work really well together, which is important as well during a count. We had 2 events on the ground system, specifically that system that is housed inside the shelter at the base of the pad. So when you see the rocket roll out to the pad and the P-vans continue going into a building, it's in that building that we're talking about. And these events are associated with the controllers, the large computers that are housed in that building. There's 3 of them. They're the same, they're redundant, so it's triple redundant. The first event that we talked about had to do with the ground side topping valves. That one of those 3 racks was not commanding them to be open when we wanted them to be open. It is triple redundant, so we never had an issue with crew safety or with safety to the vehicle, but we worked through it and we switched the primary control to a different of the 3 racks, which is acceptable for that system. And so topping continued, and we never really deviated from that. As we get down to terminal count, then we do a health check of other systems, and one of the key systems there is a different card in the 3 racks that controls what is referred to as a launch sequencer. And that's a computer that controls things like retracting umbilicals and the pyro vents that release the bolts at the base of the rocket, so that when ignition happens, the rocket is free to fly away and do its job. And for that system, we do require all 3 systems to be running, triple redundancy. And to assure that, each of those 3 big racks, those 3 big computers, do a health check. And they monitor to see that those cards came up when they were commanded to come up and begin doing their job. 2 came up normally, the 3rd one came up, but it was slow to come up, and that tripped a red line that created an automatic hold, because although the health system did not note that it came up anomalously, it took longer, and so something is not correct. This is an instantaneous launch window for us because of the unique crew safety trajectory we fly. We're not able to use our famous RAN steering like we do when we take cargo to the space station. And so as a result of that late in the count, that ended up scrubbing the mission. What will happen next is to gain physical access to that computer and determine why that occurred. We can't get in there until we're done defueling the rocket, which is followed by making sure there's no stray hydrogen inside that building so that it's safe for people to be there. Then we'll go in and we'll troubleshoot it. So we are probably not less than, say, 3 or 4 hours from understanding what occurred. And if it's as simple as replacing a card, we have spares for everything, and we would do that. We would test it, which is required, and then be in a position to support a recycle for tomorrow. If it's more involved than that, or it just takes longer to get through all of that, then we would move to the backup day on the 5th. And as you know, we're set up for a backup on the range on the 6th as well. Weather for all 3 of those days look good, and so we'll know more much later this evening.
Should they be able to launch tomorrow, and if the mission goes as planned, NASA could certify Boeing's crew transportation system for regular flights with astronauts to and from the space station. Join Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor, and me, David Denault, with live coverage beginning at 11:30 tomorrow morning for the launch of Starliner.
This has been a special report from About Space Today.